Once upon a time in a distant kingdom, there was a wise and generous king who loved his people more than anything else. This king, respected and admired for his kindness, lived in harmony with his realm. However, one day, a terrible misfortune befell the land. A devastating famine threatened to reduce the people to misery. Despite all his efforts to provide for everyone's needs, the crops continued to wither, and hope faded in the hearts of the people. It was then that the king, witnessing the suffering of his people, made a decision that would change the course of history. Driven by unconditional love, he chose to undertake the greatest sacrifice to offer them a better life. This tale is much more than just a story. It is a tribute to the strength of love and generosity. As you listen to this tale, let yourself be inspired by the courage of a king who gave everything to save his people. It is a timeless lesson, a legacy of values that resonates through the ages. The king enters his palace, greeted by his advisors. His face is marked by concern as he hears about the famine. The king meets with his advisors, who describe the disastrous situation of the famine and its impact on the kingdom. Determined to understand the suffering of his people, the king leaves the palace and travels through the villages, seeing the faces marked by hunger. Moved by this suffering, the king promises to find a solution, even if it requires a personal sacrifice. A wise appears before the king and offers him a mysterious solution to save the kingdom, but it requires a great sacrifice. The king shares his plan for sacrifice with the queen, who listens in pain but respects his determination. The king spends an entire night under a tree, meditating on the crucial decision he must make for his people. At dawn, the king announces his decision to sacrifice himself to save the kingdom. The council, moved, accepts his choice. The king takes a moment to say goodbye to the palace and the royal gardens, aware that this will be his last look at all he knows and loves. The king, dressed in white, heads towards the sacred mountain where he will perform his ritual, alone, determined, and ready to give his life. Aware of his sacrifice, the people gather to pray, imploring the heavens to protect their beloved king. Upon reaching the summit, the king raises a prayer, ready to give his energy and life to save his people. In an ultimate act, the king unites with nature, offering his spirit so that prosperity may return to his kingdom. Shortly after the sacrifice, abundant rain begins to fall, bringing fertility and life to the parched lands. Grateful and moved, the people erect a monument in honor of the king and pay tribute to him for his sacrifice. Years later, the story of the king is told to new generations. He becomes a legend, a symbol of courage and devotion, a role model for future kings. The king's sacrifice brought prosperity and peace back to the kingdom, but it left an indelible mark in the hearts of his people. His sacrifice became a symbol of courage and generosity, a legacy of values that continues to inspire and guide future generations. His story is more than a legend. It is a powerful reminder that love and sacrifice are the greatest gifts one can offer to others. If this story has touched and inspired you, show your support by liking this video and sharing it so that others can discover this beautiful lesson in life. And do not miss our upcoming tales filled with wisdom and inspiration. Subscribe to our channel. Together, let's preserve and share these stories that carry precious values and teachings. Thank you for being part of this adventure with us.